In this class, I'll be teaching us what short-term rental is and what arbitrage is. I'm going to start with short-term rentals. Okay, so short-term rental is the practice of renting out an already furnished house, apartment, or condo, or a room for a short period of time, often ranges from a few weeks to a few days, to a few couple of weeks. Now you know our normal houses in Nigeria, it's usually long-term rentals, at least minimum of 1 year. Most of them, like majority of them, is minimum of 1 year. So that's long-term rental. But right now, what we're talking about is short-term rental, renting out properties for a couple of days, and even weeks. So this is what short-term rental is all about. So we say, let's continue. So short-term rentals gives travelers more flexibility and a more personal option compared to hotels. They provide certain appliances and equipment that makes it feel like a home. I don't know if we've heard about service accommodation or shortlets in Nigeria. Properties where you just come in and you carry your just your personal belongings, probably just your bag, and enter. You don't need to come with maybe the fridge, the bed, the TV. It has all this already in the property. It has both Wi-Fi. Your kitchen is already set up. Sometimes they even stock up your fridge for you, with little things. There's Wi-Fi, the TV, Netflix login, and everything. I believe some of us are aware of apartment like that. You probably see it on social media. You probably see service accommodation or shortlets. So those are like this is mainly what short-term rental is talking about. Now these are not like hotels, right? With hotels you cannot, hotels don't really provide kitchen for us. But with this one you can live like it is your house that you're staying in. You can just come with your bag, go out to the market if you don't want to waste money or spend too much money with buying food, buying breakfast, lunch, dinner. You get to go to the market to buy a couple of things that you want. You come back to the house, to the property, and you can make it, keep it in the fridge. All these are provided for you. So it gives this personal touch. It gives this personal touch compared to compared to hotels. So let's continue. Let's continue. Short-term rental properties. Short-term rental properties are listed on various booking sites like Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, etc. They're listed on these properties, on this website to get guests. So I know some of you have heard me talk about Airbnb. Airbnb is like it's a website that people that have short-term rentals list their properties on. Airbnb is a website for that people use to list their properties. When I mean list their properties, basically posting their properties on those kind of websites. So Airbnb is like the most popular one. Just like in Nigeria, we call Indomie noodles. Noodles like the general name, but we call it Indomie because it's very very popular. So that's what Airbnb is here. So Airbnb is just another website. They've got like several kind of websites, like different websites. They got Booking.com, they got Vrbo and Expedia. They're like a whole lot of websites they have for that people list their properties on for short-term rentals. So like I said, when I mean listing, it's just posting your property on those websites, but you have to be like very very specific, with the kind of how many beds. These are things I'll also teach that moving forward, how to list your properties on such website. I'll teach that moving forward. So let's go to the next page. So we'll have, who is a host? Let's read. A host is someone who rents out their property, whether it's a room, apartment, house, or even in a unique accommodation like a tree house or boat, to guests while adhering to appropriate guidelines and regulations set by their city or local authorities. So a host is anybody that list their properties on short-term rental websites, right? Like Airbnb. So now it doesn't even necessarily have to be a property. It could be like a boat, it could be a tree house, it could be whatever it is you want to list on that platform. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a boat, but you need to follow your community, your city's guideline. Wherever you're located in, you need to follow their guideline whenever you're listing properties, just to adhere to the regulations of your local authorities. It's very important as a host to know this, to know your to know the regulations, the appropriate guidelines and regulations of your city before listing your property or on Airbnb. For the sake of this class, I'll be using Airbnb more, so it'll just be easier for us. Instead of short-term rental website, I'll be using Airbnb, right? So you need to know so that you would not waste your time and effort and list property and it to be taken down. So it's very important that you know your guideline, your regulations of your city before you list your property on Airbnb. Right? And a host is someone who rents out their property. So a host is like the owner of that property. Yeah, a host is mainly the owner of the property. So that's it. So let's go to a co-host. A co-host is a property. A co-host is a co-host or a property manager is an individual or a team that assists the host in managing their property. They help in tasks such as listing the property, coordinating with cleaners, communicating with guests, overseeing maintenance, and various other responsibilities related to the upkeep and operation of the short-term rental property. So a co-host is basically someone that helps the host. Now, unlike long-term rentals, this short-term rentals needs more. It's more time demanding. It needs more attention. It needs more work. Long-term rental, you can just you build a house and that is it. Probably set up the kitchen, the bathroom, and blah blah blah. Right? Your tenants come in. Talking about Nigeria now. These are how most Nigerian homes are. You're the one that probably even put your bed. Bring your bed, your fridge, your your TV, right? And that is it. You don't have like constant communication with the landlord. You don't really have more unless you want to pay your rent or maybe there's any major complaint, right? But for short-term renters, it's like you need to be in touch with your guests 24/7 practically. Constant communication with not just your guests, your cleaning team, because when that particular guest check out, like I said, it's like stay in the property for a couple of days. It could be one night, it could be 2 nights, it could be 3 nights. So imagine you have a guest that checks out that's checking out tomorrow and another one is booking to come that day tomorrow. You need to obviously communicate this with your cleaning team. Or maybe there's an issue at the property that your guest reported to you. You need to communicate this with your maintenance team before another guest checks in. These are all to avoid bad reviews, because at the end of each guest stay, they leave you review and you also review your guests. So it's very important. Like with guests with short-term renters, it is very important that you communicate with your guests properly, right? Try to give them the best experience ever. Now the co-host helps the host to manage their property. A co-host is like most of these hosts, most of these owners of these properties, they don't have the time to do the day-to-day managing of properties. They don't have the time to do the day-to-day managing of properties. So they do what? They employ someone. This is where I come in. They employ someone that will help them with all this whole thing. It is not. I just listed a couple of things, but it's obviously not as easy as I listed here, right? So they get someone that will help them with this thing. So the major difference between a co-host and a property manager is like a property manager now can list a property that is not even theirs on Airbnb. Now, let me say for example, but I don't really advise, especially those living in Nigeria, or if you're not able to seal that property, I would only advise you to list someone else's property as your own, right? When you are in the same location with that person, right? When you're in the same location with that person, meaning you can see that property is actually their own and not the other way around. So it's very important. This is very important to avoid being scammed, right? this is very, very important to avoid being scammed or get your property taken down from the websites, right? So you make sure that this property is actually the owner's own. Obviously there'll be agreement and everything. So property managers can actually list properties. Property managers are like they've got like team. They do everything from scratch for the owners, right? They do everything from scratch for the owners. Like myself now, I'm a co-host, right, to several properties. I can only do things that, although handle the maintenance, communicate to guests, make sure things are going smoothly, but I don't do any groundwork. But property manager, although even some co-hosts do this, especially if you're around, if you're local to any to where your property is, to where the host property is, you can do whatever it is. You can even go in and help out sometimes, right? But this is mainly what a co-host or property manager does, right, for the host. So moving forward, we've got what we call channel managers. Channel managers are like softwares that are used by hosts or co-hosts or property managers to efficiently manage the operations of short-term rental business. I'm going to see, go deep, show us some samples and everything, but I'm just trying to, follow the slides. So channel managers are softwares that are used by hosts, co-hosts, property managers to efficiently manage the operations of a short-term rental business. So we have examples of channel managers are Guesty, Hospitable, Hostaway, etc. Right, a whole lot of channel managers. So channel managers, it helps like when you have multiple properties on Airbnb. Now, like remember I told you we have Airbnb, we have Booking.com, we have Vrbo and everywhere. Imagine you list your property on each of these websites. How do you control, with the cleaning? How do you control managing several guests from different platforms? You have to open this platform and reply to this guest, open the other platform and reply to this guest, open another platform, have to open Airbnb, reply on Airbnb, reply on Booking.com, reply on Vrbo, reply on Expedia. So now with Channel Manager, they can synchronize all these things for you in just one application, which is either Guesty, Hospitable, Hostaway. Now you can do all these things on this app without having to go to this other Airbnb, Booking.com and be doing all. You can do everything on this app, right? So I'm going to end this particular class now because we're going to go into more practical. I'll be showing you show us how to list our properties on Airbnb, how to list our property on Airbnb, how to optimize our listing, how to work virtually as a co-host. That's something else. But I'm going to end this class here. The next class is going to be a bit more practical, and I need to settle down and get that sorted. So I'm going to end this particular video here. So I've got an assignment for us. You can look up Airbnb, look up Booking.com. Just familiarize yourself with such platform. You can look up Airbnb, look up Booking.com, look up Vrbo, right? You can also browse what are short-term rental websites. Look for what other short-term rental website. Look at it. Just familiarize yourself with how it works and everything. Also, look up channel managers. You can watch YouTube videos on how channel manager works, how it looks like. These are things you can do from your end for me, right? And while I get ready for the other class. So I'll end this right now.